2024. This is going to be a end-to-end tour of Interstate 240 from the western side of Memphis, basically very close to downtown, over to the east side. And basically, Interstate 240 is in the shape of a U. Originally, it was supposed to be a full circle, but right here, with these fairly new-looking crossover ramps and stuff, Interstate 40 was supposed to continue to the left, but it would have cut through a park, and I think it was back in the 60s or 70s, the judge stopped that from happening. Never came to fruition, so 40 just takes the top side of what was to be the loop, and 240 now just runs the southern half. Kind of an interesting history on that, but too bad they couldn't get the tunnel or something built under the park. That would have been pretty neat to have, but I just don't think they were willing to invest in a project like that back in that time. But on the western side, on the eastern side of Memphis, right where 240 and 40 meet again, there's Sam Cooper Boulevard that goes to the west from I-40. Well, that was supposed to be I-40, but it mysteriously ends right at where the eastern side of the park. So that's where the project was supposed to continue, meet 40 back here, but it never happened. So I guess they just said, well, we'll just find a new way to do it. Kind of similar to I-70 in Baltimore. It never fully went into the city because of a park, and it just stops just a little bit east of 695 over there. Cop up there checking speed on the overpass. I think he's looking at the other direction. Yeah, he is. Memphis I do love the city of Memphis. It's very unique from its music history to the different types of music you find. If you ever come here, I would recommend to visit Sun Studio on Union Avenue, from the variety of singers that went through there, or that started their career there, such as Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis. You have B.B. King and some other blues singers there. worth checking out. I would definitely. It's a small studio, but it's definitely worth checking out. And you can find a lot of good barbecue and catfish around here as well. I speak that I grew up in the South, so I've had my exposure to that great stuff, especially down in Louisiana. Great exposure, especially great Cajun food down there, but that's another story for another day. But when I was a teenager, I used to cut grass, and one of my customers was from Memphis. He's deceased now, so I can say his name, Mr. Hurd, H-U-R-D, and he was depressed. He and his wife took another job away from Memphis, and he just always told me, I was about 15, 16, just how unique the area is. Just said it had a total identity of its own. Now, if you're a younger person hearing that, you might think, okay, the city's crime-ridden, has its problems, but we're talking to a man who grew up here in the 50s, throughout the 60s and 70s. And just safe to say, I would take his word on it. Just, he saw it back in its music days, and when it was a smaller city. But he was heartbroken about leaving Memphis. He is buried here. After he passed away, he's buried at a cemetery here in Memphis. But he and his wife moved to Jacksonville, Florida. I'm going to say back in the late 80s, early 90s for a job. But let's just say from the conversations I had with him, he wasn't thrilled. He would have rather stayed here. And at the end, he got his wish. He was buried here. But as I've come to visit the city more, it is a unique city. It's got its very rough areas. It's got some very nice areas. I've enjoyed learning about the music and the deep history of it, going way, way back, way before my time. And I myself would have loved to have been here, back in the 50s when Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis were duking it out. Who knows what Jerry Lee could have become if he didn't mess around with his cousin, but that's another story for another day. But it is what it is. I think most cities along the Mississippi River have a very unique background, especially New Orleans. Baton Rouge, I've lived there. Vicksburg, very historical. Natchez, downriver is. And St. Louis, it's definitely unique. Not just because of the arts, but it has a history with when it was part of the Louisiana Purchase. And even up Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's a neat area up there. I personally wouldn't want to live there in the wintertime, but especially getting north of there, the Mississippi River, it's amazing how much smaller it is up there. Minnesota, it's a beautiful place. Every time I've been up there, I love it. Except dead of winter when it's minus 20. That's another story. Anyhow, I'll stay quiet till the end of the road here. But I just had to give a little perspective of Memphis and its uniqueness.